Welcome to the Douglas County Beacon GIS mapping tutorial. This is the site that we host all of our GIS information on, and this is where you start. So when you get to Beacon from the Douglas County webpage, you just want to select the state. So go down to Wisconsin, select Douglas County. And with this, you can set as a favorite, and it'll add it to your favorites list, or you can save it as default, and it will immediately come to Douglas County as soon as you come to beacon.schneidercorp.com. So we'll set as default just because. But the first thing you're going to see is either property search or view map. So within property search, you're able to search by owner name, property address, parcel number. And with this, it will auto detect and populate based on what you're typing. So if we type in JOH, it's going to give us results for John, Johnson, Johansson. Same thing with the property address. It's going to, if we type in 23, we get 1230, 1231, 1232, 123 Main Street, anything that it can find that matches your current search. And same thing with the parcel as well. So if we type in 08, we're going to get results for 08808, the first one that it can get numerically all the way through. And as you keep typing, it will change based off of what is there. Further than that, you can do an advanced search. You can search by any of these. If you don't have name, property address, or parcel number, you can narrow it down to get that information here. Next, from the home screen, we'll go to View Map. This will bring us to the full extent view of Douglas County and the mapping portion of Beacon. To start on the left here, you'll see all of the layers that we have provided. You can toggle any of these on or off depending on what you are looking for. And these layers are extent view based. So you can see some of these like addresses, roads, parcels, parcel numbers are little lighter gray check marks. That's because we are zoomed to an extent that they are not visible yet. So we have to zoom in farther to see all the addresses, roads, parcel numbers, and parcels. So we'll just zoom in to a point. Okay, so now you can see parcels and parcel numbers and roads are all now visible, but we still can't see addresses. And now US major highways, towns, and county outlines are no longer visible. We've zoomed too far in to see any of those. So if we zoom in a little farther, well, we probably won't see an address there. But just pay attention to these gray check marks because they will change depending on the extent that you are zoomed into or out of. Further in the legend here, this is going to show you how each of these are symbolized. So we can see addresses are red points. You can see all on the screen. You can see how the roads are symbolized. Show all of those. You can see what roads, what they look like. All of the layers that are visible will be in this legend tab. The layers within Beacon are also selectable depending on which one is currently highlighted. So all of these layers that have blue labeling, these are all layers that can be selected at any point. You just have to make sure that that particular one is selected at the moment. So right now we have parcels selected. You can tell because of this gray box. So if we were to go over and click on this parcel, we're going to get information about the parcel and parcel owners. However, if we change to the survey map and we click on that same parcel, we now get survey information. So you can see we have a link to that survey, that map of survey. That's kind of this gray color, but we clicked in the same parcel and now we're getting different information. So depending on what layer is active, you're going to get different information. Going off of the legend and the symbology, you are able to change some of the symbology. So in this example, we have parcels selected here, and it has this little settings icon. So we just click on settings. It brings up the symbology panel for the parcel. So right now it's shown in this kind of yellowy green color. We're going to change it to something a little brighter that's a little more visible. Go in here, choose maybe that pink. And now you can see the parcel lines have changed to a different color. You can change the width of the parcel. For exaggeration, we'll go to 10. Now the parcel lines have gotten a lot thicker. You can also change the fill color. So we want to change it to a blue. Now all of those polygons are full with the fill color. You can remove these at any time, change it back, or if you just want to restore to original symbology, just hit that and it brings it back to how it was originally symbolized. You can see here what it's going to look like in the layer legend, and then it should show up here as well in the legend. With the parcels layer selected, we can look at reports generated in the tax system based on each parcel. So we're going to just select a random parcel here, and we can click either report here where it comes up, or you can click report up here on this red ribbon. That's going to bring you to the same page. But what it does is it generates this report based on tax information. So we have summary, owner, valuation, tax history, tax payment, sales, and tax data. And the nice thing that Beacon does is if you hit print here on the icon, it's going to print a nice detailed report with all this information included. It'll format it for you. So the way it works is if you were to close any of these tabs, they will not show up on the report. So if we were to click print right now, we're just going to get owner data, tax history data, tax payments, sales, and tax data. Because we minimized summary and valuation, they will not be included in that report. And you can also do the same with the columns. So if we're in the valuation tab and we don't need 2018 per se, we unselect it, and now we just have 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022, and it will not include 2018 when we print here. If you use Control P, it will not format it nicely, so just use the print icon, and you'll get a nice formatted report. And share this web page. It'll generate a URL for you. You can set print layout, send an email. So again, it's just going to print, or it's going to select a link, and you can send that in an email. You can favorite this property and come back to it. Same thing, if you clear your cache or cookies, it will not keep this information, so keep that in mind. And you can toggle to the previous and the next record. So it's going to go by parcel number here. So if you go back, it's going to take you one parcel number back. Go forward, it'll take you one forward. In the report page is also where you can find GCS tax data. At the bottom here, just hit view tax data and it will bring you to the GCS site. This is where you can find all of your taxes, assessments, and that sort of information. We know there has been some issues with the GCS site pulling information or lack thereof. Sometimes when you switch years here, it comes up with blank data. To get around this, we just suggest you select a different year and then reselect the year that you would like to view, and it should refresh the page. You can also just X out of the window and go back in from Beacon, and sometimes that usually works. If you're having persistent issues, we would recommend just contacting us. You can find contact information on the Beacon site. Just send us an email letting us know the parcel number and the problem, and we'll take a look further into it. Within Beacon, you're able to search for surveys that have been submitted to the county. You can search by any criteria that you know of. You can search by survey type, surveyor, date range, township range section. All that same information is found here in this survey search. You can search here. or you can pan within the map if you know where that survey was taken. You can search within the map as well. So for example, we have to make sure to select the survey map. So now that it's selected, it's got this gray box. And look at this survey. It's going to bring us to this link here. It's just a PDF of the survey of those, in this case, parcels. So you can search or you can find it in the map and then look at any of the PDFs that are available to you. Within Beacon, you should be able to see ALTAs and maps of survey, this MOS. CSMs and plats are available at the Douglas County Register of Deeds office or on the Landshark app. You can Google that, create an account, and then purchase those over the internet. Similarly to survey maps, you can search PLSS corners, get the section corners by clicking on PLSS corners here. So now with that layer active, you can go and select any one of these little dots. You can tell those are the PLSS corners by checking the symbology here in the Legend tab. Click on one of those, and it's going to give you a link to the tie sheet. You can also view the tie sheets here. Same thing, it's going to bring you to the PDF of those tie sheets that you're able to look at. You can search for tie sheets either here on the right by looking at their ROM portal number, surveyor, township range section, or you can go up to the tie sheet search and search similarly here. Within the toolbar that Beacon provides, there are draw and measure tools that allow you to mark up the map as you need. You can draw polygons or polylines. You can change border color, width, and fill color, and you can include measurements as well. So with the polygon, you can include measurements that measure the length of each polygon side and also the area that it covers. And you can change the units. You can change the label size and the label font color. So we're going to draw a polygon here. You want to hit hide settings here instead of the X. If you click the X, it's going to take you out of the tool. So we'll hide settings. And to drop the first point, you just point and click. You don't have to hold and drag. And the nice thing is that it'll help you draw right angles if you need. And then to close, all you have to do is double click and it finishes your feature. So it shows the length of each side here, each segment, and then it also gives you a total distance and total area for the polygon. And then also in the right-hand corner, it shows you your measurements. Then we can also draw polylines. Same thing, you can change the color and the width, but we're going to include measurements so we get the length of each line segment. Again, you can change the color and the size of the label and change the unit as well. So then you come, same thing, point and click. Click to add each point you want and double click to finish. So it's a little jumbled here, but you get each segment length and then a total length as well that you can also see up in the right-hand corner. After you're done, you can select and delete any features that you've drawn by using the select tool, clicking on that object and hitting delete. You can also clear all features with clear markup if you have a lot and you just want to clear the map. That will also get rid of your features. Any features that you draw and mark up the map with will stay session to session. So if you were to close out of your browser and come back into Beacon, you would still find your features that you drew, provided you don't clear your cache and cookies. The other tools that you can use within this draw and measure tool within the toolbar is draw freehand. This one you can change the line color and the width. And it varies a little bit from the other tools in that you have to click and hold for it to draw. So you can click and it'll just won't put anything. Click and hold, it'll draw your line feature. You can also add points to the map if you want to just add a single point. You can change the size, color, and also the style of marker. So if we want to make it a nice bright red, you now have a red square. Similarly, you can change the size, bigger square. Another tool you can use within the Draw and Measure toolbar is the Add Label tool. You can change the label color, size, and what you want to label each feature as. And you just have to type that in this box here. So anything that you need to type, you can just put in that box and then click to add to anywhere on the map. Similarly, you can delete these features with the select and then delete, or you can clear markup to get rid of the entire map. The last tool you can use within the Draw and Measure tab is the Spatial Buffer tool. Currently it is unselected, so the way we are able to enable that tool is with the select. You just have to select a feature that you have already created within Beacon. And then once that is highlighted, you can see that the Spatial Buffer tool becomes available. So then we can click on Spatial Buffer. You can change the border color, the border width, and the fill color, and also the units that you're going to buffer from your feature. So you can change the distance to whatever you need. So I'm just going to change it to 50. You hit buffer, and it will create a buffer around that feature that you have created. You can do this with any polygon, line, or point that you have put on the map. It does not allow you to do spatial buffers for any layers within the map. If you are selecting a polygon per se, it will not allow a spatial buffer for that. You would have to draw either a polygon, line, or point in order to use this spatial buffer tool. The next feature in our toolbar is the print feature. So when we click print here, it's going to bring up this little shadowed box. And this is the extent that it is going to print onto the page. So we have our extent down here at 300 feet, but it's going to only print what's in this shadowed box. So you can click and drag and move to exactly what you would like to be printed. You can also change the paper size. So if we want to do landscape, it now changes this shadowed box. So it's going to change what's printed on the page. You can add all of these options on top of it. You can give it a title, subtitle, and author. And we'll just give it all sample here. Download PDF. So now it's going to bring us to that sheet that it's going to print. Opening up here. So we now have our title, subtitle, and our author. It gives us the breakdown of what is being shown here in its symbology, and then data is created. So this is what happens, and then you can just either print or save, depending on what you'd like to do with that. If you aren't happy with this, you can just X out, change the extent, figure out what you want to fit in your area here, and try it again. There is a known issue with the scaling while you print. So it says 1 to 400 here. If we go to download, the scale changes. This is a known issue. We have a ticket in with Esri. It says 1 to 400, but if you were to measure it out, it's not exact. But there is a ticket in, and we're trying to get this corrected at the moment. The download tool on our toolbar is just for taking a screen grab of the extent of the map here, and it'll turn it into a PNG or a JPEG, depending on which file format you want. So if we just hit download, we'll just choose a JPEG. It's just going to download it. We'll go ahead and open that up. And it's just the extent of the map within Beacon, nothing else. A nice feature that is available in Beacon is the pictometry or eagle view part of viewing parcels. So you can reach that by either going to the pictometry imagery tab up here or in the more and then oblique imagery viewer. So if you go to pictometry, what it does is it shows you the oblique image of a parcel. So the difference is most of these pictures that you see within Beacon are taken directly overhead. The oblique imagery is taken at an angle. So you can kind of see this looks like a little bit of an angle from this parcel and this view. And you can really get a sense of it when you change the angle and you can just follow the shadows. So you can see the shadows off to the side. So in the pictometry view, you can zoom in and out with the plus and minus button. You can also zoom to preset levels. So you can go to neighborhood level. That zooms it out a little farther, or you can go to community level, which is a farther view, so you can get the whole parcel. You can also click and drag within the pictometry viewer. You can change the direction that you're looking at the parcel from. So now we're viewing it from the west. You can change it with either this little compass, or you can rotate with these two little arrows here. You can pan through all of the photos taken of this parcel, all of the oblique imagery. You can also select different dates if you need. You can add, well, I'm not going to see any street or place names here, but you can add contours once those are available. We're working on getting countywide contours available. There are currently contours available for the city of Superior. You can pan, identify points. Again, there's not going to be anything in the forest here, but you can use that tool. You can export to a PDF. You can also get a dual pane. Dual pane will allow you to view this parcel from multiple angles at the same time if you need. So you can view it from opposite sides, the same view. You can change the date and get different views that way. The last couple tools within the home screen of Beacon here are the zoom in and zoom out buttons. You can use these to zoom in or out of the map. Same thing by using the scroll wheel, you can do that. You can zoom to the full extent of Douglas County. So you can see the whole county and zoom in using the scroll wheel or the plus minus buttons. You can save bookmarks. So I already have one saved. So we can go to St. Croix and it takes us right to the bookmark. The nice thing is that these bookmarks stay when you leave your session. So if you create a bookmark and tomorrow you come back into the Beacon mapping site, this bookmark will still be there. And it takes you to the exact extent that you had on your screen when you created it. So we can do Nebegaman, we'll add it. If we go to full extent here, and then click on Lake Nebegaman, it brings us to that exact extent that we had when we added the bookmark. You can also delete bookmarks if you don't need them anymore, but it's nice for looking at the same particular area within Douglas County. There's also the full extent tool. It takes away the layers tab, so you have a full picture. You can get out of this by either pressing escape on your keyboard or just clicking the tool one more time. And lastly, there is imagery slider. So what this allows you to do is look at an area and compare historical views. So right now we have 2022 on the left-hand side of the screen here on the left part of this slider. And on the right, we're going to change it to 2013. So now on the right side of this slider, we have 2013 view. So it's nice you can kind of compare and contrast different areas throughout the years and slide it across to get the different views. Obviously, the older photos are going to have less high definition imagery, but you can still get a good sense of how an area has changed.